Yo, what's going on? Chavo Guerrero Jr. here, giving a big shout out to Wrestling Rehab. Keep watching, keep listening, and viva la raza.
Órale. Órale, Total Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shouts to all the junkies out there. All right, man. So back home, let me put this over here. Good gosh, man. Still recovering from what was WrestleMania weekend. Still decompressing. Still trying to get myself together. I cannot wait for this weekend where I can just relax, chillax, and get everything back on track. Because as right now, all I'm really trying to do is survive to get to the end of the week. That is it, man. And we're almost there, halfway there. Because I still haven't completely unpacked. It's still just there, and it'll probably be there, man. Like I said, probably to the end of the week. I'm just trying to make it to the end. I'm still feeling the effects, man. What a time, what a moment. We'll get to all those things, but let's go ahead and let's actually get to WrestleMania. Now, yes, we're past Monday Night Raw. We'll get into Raw later on this week, man. But as just for now, let's just stick with WrestleMania. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to old school wrestler George South. I met him in the elevator, and he gave me his little comic book here. I've been checking it out. It's cool, man. Um, what's up, Bay Area? Oh man, check down SmackDown, NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania. Wow, man, you guys are straight troopers. Damn, are you going to New Orleans next year? That is the question. As far as me, it's a thought right now. Okay, it's just a thought. It's way too early for me to make a decision whether I'm gonna go to New Orleans or not. But as for right now, it's just a thought. Anyway, man, before I get into my time there at WrestleMania, let's go ahead and let's get into the matches. So we'll start with night one. Jay Uso defeating Gunther. Look, I thought it was a pretty good match. Um, the reason why I the reason why it's gonna be a little bit different is because the experiences, right? Being there is one thing, and then watching it on television is another thing. I've been up on game ever since after WrestleMania Night Two. Everybody's thoughts, everybody's opinions, everybody that's dropping YouTube content on them talking about how horrible and this was one of the worst WrestleManias. I'll get to what it was like there in person, but in reality, at least for me, I thought the match was pretty fun, man. It was very predictable, though. To me, this match needed more. This match needed to be a last man standing match. This match needed to be. It needed to have something for it to be WrestleMania esque, right? I've been saying it, especially from what Gunther did to his brother Jimmy, and it's just a regular straight up match. Like it needed something more. Was it good? Yeah, it was good. I think the moment was better than the match. The moment of Jay becoming champ, and I think I think it needed to be a little bit quicker. Um, him hitting the splashes, right? But when he puts him in the chokehold, right, in the sleeper hold, it's like Gunther, guy, you don't got to tap out immediately, right? Now, maybe that had something to do with what happened on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, we'll get to that later on. But there at that time, at that moment, I don't think he did a good job selling it. He has him in that chokehold for I don't know 5 seconds maybe, and he taps out, and it's like, okay, like let us let us breathe, man. Let us, we're at the edge of our seats. We're standing up. Like, is he? Like, let us enjoy that moment, man. Let the anticipation just be there. But it's like he gets a minute. And it's like, oh, he's choking him out. Oh, he tapped out. Like, whoa, like, come on, man. You gotta let it breathe a little bit. Ironically. But you gotta sell it a little bit more, Gunther, and I don't think he did a good job doing that. Nonetheless, I thought it was a fun match. Again, really WrestleMania material, especially for a championship match, especially not only just a championship match, not only the fact that it's WrestleMania, but you are the winner of the Royal Rumble, and that is a tradition. And that was the match that we got. Again, there was nothing really wrong with the match, but I just don't, it didn't meet the level that it was supposed to meet. It didn't meet the level of it being WrestleMania. And this is the winner of the Royal Rumble. Will he dethrone the almighty Gunther, which he's hasn't been able to do? Again, decent match. Nothing really wrong to complain about the match. It just doesn't meet up to the level, to the standard that it should have been at, for what it was. It was the rest. I'm sorry. It was the Royal Rumble winner at WrestleMania, and the match was just, it was just a pretty good match. So nothing nothing too special right there. Um, Seeing Haku. Well, we'll get into that later, but um New Day versus the War Raiders for the World Tag Team Champions. I didn't watch this match, and I'm not the only one. I got up to go use the restroom. I got up to go film around. If you guys have been watching my channel, I was dropping shorts pretty much throughout the night of night one and night two. And that I took it upon that time to go ahead and record where I was sitting at. I spoiled myself. I spent a little bit of extra money to get some pretty good, decent seats, man. And that's the time that I took. I did not care about this match. Hearing from what I've been hearing, I didn't miss much. Nobody is raving about this match. Nobody said anything good about this match. Everybody has just pretty much been saying the same thing. Like, it was just your average tag team match that the New Day won. They happened to win the tag team champs. And it's like, okay, there was no build for it that I cared about, and that was about it. I was filming around. I was coming back to my seats. It's on one of my shorts. As I get to my seat, as I sit down, New Day wins, and I'm like, okay, hey, we got new World Tag Team Champions, and I didn't even care, and nobody did either. Nobody cared either. Everybody went up to go to the concessions, and we were having conversations about it in the lines of the restrooms, the concessions. Everybody was like, "Man, nobody wants to see this match." I'm like, I don't care. It's like, yeah, true. And then everybody started complaining, like, why don't they have the SmackDown TLC match tonight at WrestleMania? Oh, instead they got this match that nobody cares about. Nobody cared about it. Nobody cared about it. Followed by another match that nobody cared about: Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Again, just being there, nobody cared, man. Nobody cared. Everyone was just kind of like, There was one girl that I could see one girl, like she was probably like 5 rows ahead of me, who was making a lot of noise cheering for Jade Cargill. But I mean, really, nobody really cared about that match. That match is actually kind of a blur. Um, Everybody was kind of talking around me. We were all talking about, like, hey, you know what? Who's here win the triple threat match tonight? Nobody really paid attention to this match, really. Um, yeah, I would, glimpse at it here and there, and but Jade gets the victory, and for I'll tell you guys this, man, for as long as that story went, as long as that storyline went on with who did it, who attacked Jade Cargill, who did it. For as long as that went on, the payout was kind of weak, man. Like this is the payout right here. Was her versus Naomi in a match that was pretty weak. I mean, they did all right, I guess. That's what I'm hearing from most people, from most fans. Like, yeah, it was okay. God, they really drug that story on. But all right, there you go. Jacob Funk 2 versus my boy LA Knight. Yeah, LA Knight comes out in a vehicle um going up a ramp that Stone Cold Steve Austin couldn't see. But yeah, you know what? Going into this match, I knew LA Knight was gonna lose. They're really trying to push Fatu, and I'll tell you guys this, man. A lot of people were cheering for Fatu. They weren't against LA Knight. LA Knight still over, especially with the yeah, right? Every time he would land a punch, it's like, yeah, yeah, that was fun. That was fun. But you could definitely tell there amongst the audience that most people wanted Fatu to win. Me myself, I was really rooting for LA Knight. I will tell you guys this: when Jacob Fatu first came in, I was like, man, and I don't really like this dude, right? And shout out to my boy Paul from LA Times. He loved Jacob Fatu, right? And I'll tell you guys this, man, Fatu has actually grown on me. He really has. So congratulations to him, man. It was I didn't have a problem with Fatu winning. I think he's earned it. I still like LA Knight. I'm still a fan of LA Knight, but no, it was a good victory for Fatu in a good fun match. It was a good fun match, and LA Knight's entrance, it was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. I like the fact that they had those ramps there that obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin couldn't see. El Grande Americano, going up against Ray Phoenix. Grande Americano obviously was supposed to be facing Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio gets hurt again. I was at SmackDown. I don't understand why you got to have Rey Mysterio wrestle the night before WrestleMania, especially at his age. Why do you go ahead and put him through the ringer, risking possible injury if he's got a match the very next day on the grandest stage of them all, on the showcase of the Immortals? But nonetheless, look, it was a good match. It was a fun match. Good gosh, man. I thought it was a really good match. Now, they didn't go too long. I don't remember how long they went, but they didn't go that long. But for the time that they were in there doing it up, I thought it was probably the most entertaining match getting outside of the story. Outside of the storylines, if there is no storyline whatsoever, right? If you don't know any of the storylines, you don't know anything of the betrayals, any of the friendships, nothing, you just sit down and, you don't know any of the characters. I thought they probably put on the best match that night. So, and a Grande Americano gets the victory. And I think he only got the victory because he was going to get the victory over Ray. Uh, um, over Rey Mysterio. So they weren't just gonna switch it up and have El Grande Americano lose. Um, but Ray Phoenix, I still think, yeah, the guy's badass, man. So we'll see what happens with that story. I'm sure that's gonna continue. As we move on to Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, a match that I was really, really praising a long time ago, man, about 2 years ago. I was saying this is gonna be gold whenever it happens, and it happened, and it wasn't gold, man. Good gosh, the build up to this was a debacle. You could kind of tell that there's bad blood between them two. They didn't, you know. I really hope, man, that these two girls can get it together and do it once again, maybe at SummerSlam, and put on a classic. Because both of these girls, man, if they really focus, right, and they're really engaged, both of these girls can put on probably the greatest women's match ever. I'm telling you guys, man. But the fact that it was just a mess leading up to this, it was just, yeah, man. And I'm a fan of both of them. And for night one, I was wearing my Charlotte Flair T-shirt. Now I don't have a Tiffany Stratton shirt, but I was rooting for her just as much. I think they're both great. I do, man. I think Tiffany Stratton could be the next Charlotte Flair. And I know people hate Charlotte Flair. They believe that she's only where she's at because of her last name. And I know it's controversial for me to say this, man, but I think Charlotte Flair's better than her dad, right? But you know, Everybody hates her, man. Everybody hates her but me. Everybody hates her but me. She is the absolute best. She is the best. So, anyway, Tiffany Stratton wins, and it was, it was a decent match. It was a little lackluster. Like I said, because I had lowered my expectations in that match, because my expectations when that was first announced, my expectations were up here, man. Because to me, I was building that up back when Tiffany Stratton was down at NXT. I was building that matchup. And once we were getting close to WrestleMania, once I saw the whole buildup had just fallen apart, once I saw that, my expectations just dropped. And I'm like, man, they're not going to give them a lot of time, and I don't think they're really going to sell each other's moves, and I don't think they're going to put on a good show. And I thought they did okay. Now, there's some people that are saying that it was a horrible match. I have not seen it on television. There in person, I thought it was decent. Um, but yeah, I didn't blow the socks off of anybody. And most people were rooting for Tiffany Stratton. Everybody hates Charlotte Flair, everybody but me. And I love Tiffany Stratton too, man. So I really hope they run it back. I really do. I hope they get their heads out their nalgas and really understand, like, hey, you know what? We can do something incredibly special that can go down in history. Hopefully at SummerSlam they run it back. Something, man, because both of these girls, they got it, man. They could put on the a straight classic. So congrats to Tiffany Time. Tiffany Stratton is the only one to be to hold on to her title that night. Everybody else titles changed hands on night one. Then we move on to the main event, the triple threat match between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth freaking Rollins. The match was fun. It was good to watch. Nothing really that special when it comes to entrances. Man, especially like Roman Reigns, like he just comes walking out pretty plain. Nothing really going on, man. I was just a little surprised. I would have liked to see some more. Just in both night one and two, I don't really have like a favorite entrance. I think all the entrances were a little bit dull, man. It was just man, I Roman Reigns, dog, you're the tribal chief, brother. You're the tribal chief, man. Your music hits and you just come out just pretty darn plain. Like I would have had some people standing out there with torches or something for you to walk down. Something, man. What's up, Richard? Um, I it just none of the entrances really wowed me. I'll be real with you guys, man. LA Knight coming out in the car, that was okay. Charlotte Flair does the same thing. That was all right, but yeah, man, it was the entrances were a little bit weak. The match was fun, good triple threat match. It's probably one of the best matches in at WrestleMania this year, because the match was fun and the storyline that goes with it, the surprise and everything, the betrayal with Paul Heyman, and you could just feel it once Paul Heyman got behind Roman Reigns. You could just feel it. Everybody just knew it. He's gonna hit Roman in the balls, man. He's gonna turn his back on Roman Reigns. And having Seth Rollins win, I think honestly was the right move. I do. Out of all those three guys, he's the lowest one on the tier when it comes to superstardom, right? I mean, come on, you got the tribal chief, you got CM Punk. Both of those guys, their star power is a little bit, glows a little bit brighter than Seth Rollins. Don't get me wrong, Seth Rollins is a star. He's up there. Do not get me wrong. He is a star. But you're talking about the tribal chief. You're talking about CM Punk. Okay, their superstardom goes a little bit further than Seth Rollins, but I thought that was the right move to have Seth Rollins win. We'll get into what happened on Monday Night Raw later on this week. I just want to stick to WrestleMania on this one. Um, Now he's he now he's with Seth Rollins, which is a little bit odd because Seth Rollins has a mouthpiece. He doesn't really need anybody talking for him. But as time has gone on, Roman, look, I'll tell you guys this, man. Once upon a time, Roman Reigns was horrible on the mic. Good gosh, he was terrible. People hated him. People hated Roman Reigns. Quit pushing him down our throats. Quit pushing him down our throats. And he was horrible on the mic. The guy could not cut a promo. John Cena called him out on it right in front of him, man. And it just really shook Roman Reigns up. This is before he became your tribal chief, right? But he's come to be pretty darn good on the mic. Roman Reigns, I'll tell you guys this, man. Roman Reigns has become one of the greatest ever to do it. He moves slow but with purpose. Every word, every hit, every shot, everything that he does has purpose. It may be slow, but that anticipation of just waiting and waiting and waiting, and oh, he gives a shot. It's like it's with purpose. You feel it, right? He's not this, snap of a finger kind of guy, high flyer or anything of that sort. He's a little bit more slower, a little more methodical, planning things out. Even, when he has the mic and he just kind of looks around and when he's about to talk or something, every word, like he has everybody in the palm of his hands. He's become one of the greatest to ever do it, man. And that's saying something because Roman Reigns, once upon a time, was super duper green that everybody hated him. Everybody hated him. Oh, this guy doesn't got it. He hasn't got the charisma. Now this guy is such in a comfort level. He just stands in the ring here and he just looks around and everybody's cheering and he's just slowly just controlling everybody with his facial movements. And he's one of the best to ever do it, man. One of the best to ever do it. And Seth Rollins winning, like I said, I thought that was the way to go. And like I said, we'll get to what happened on Monday Night Raw later on this week. All right, so Monday night. I'm sorry. So WrestleMania night one is in the books. Bam! It was fun. It was good. That main event actually, I thought was the better main event of both the nights. But that being said, let's go ahead and let's get to night two, where you have the triple threat match with the women. So you had EO, you had Rhea Ripley, you had against Bianca Belair, right? All three of them in triple threat match. I had said it before. I think the bigger match would have been Mommy versus Bianca Belair one on one. That would have been the bigger match. But the better match would have been this triple threat match. And it was. And it was. Um, this was probably the best match. I mean, it was the best match. I would say night two. I think the only one that probably rivals it is maybe the Fatal Four Way. We'll get to that in a bit, but it was a fun match. It was a fun match. Io Sky. I'll tell you guys, man. Io Sky, it has become one of my favorites. Io Sky, man, she is so damn good. And the fact that she's learning more and more and more English, I think is only gonna win her. It's only gonna grow her stardom because I think that's what was kind of holding her back a little bit. Like Oscar, Oscar became a pretty big star at some point, but she didn't really speak too much English. She would just say, "Nobody's ready for Oscar," right? The Empress. And that was cool and everything, but you're gonna need to cut some promos at some point, man. You're gonna need to engage with people. And Io Sky is getting better and better at speaking the language. And it showed, you know. It showed in her promos, it showed on Monday Night Raw, which I don't want to get too far into Monday Night Raw, but it's showing. And I mean, this girl, man, I tell you, I didn't even know this, but she's the first Japanese woman to ever get a victory at WrestleMania. I had no idea. And I haven't gone back to check that myself. That's just what I heard. Whether it's accurate or not, I don't know, but I've heard that from multiple sources. So, you guys could go ahead and check it out for yourself. Not to get ahead, but it dominate, get a big pop. Oh, we're gonna get to that, Richard. We're gonna get to that. We'll get to that after this right here. Okay, so Io Sky gets a victory, no problem. She's a star. She's growing, and the sky's the limit for Io Sky. All right, so then we move on to the street fight. I didn't really care that much about this match. I didn't think they did a good job in building that. It was the only match that really had a special stipulation to it. It being a street fight, I had said multiple times they need more matches with stipulations on them, man. This was the only one. And it was, it was cool. It was fun. I'll tell you this, man. It passed my expectations just because storyline wise, I wasn't really buying it. And it almost kind of seemed like Drew McIntyre wasn't really buying it either. It almost seemed like Drew was a little upset that it's like, you got me in a match with Damian Priest. Like, I don't know, man. Like Drew McIntyre was a little bit like, come on, man. I need to be in a main event or something. But it was a fun match for what it was. It was a fun match, and the way it ended, I thought was pretty damn cool. I'm sorry, Drew McIntyre winning, I thought was the right way to go. Does this end Damian Priest now? Damian Priest was on a good run, right? He wins Money in the Bank, right? He becomes El Campeón, okay? Um, the guy straight out of the Bronx from Boricua, from the Bronx, right? He has a good run. Is this it for him now? That's a good question, man. Was that like his Kofi Mania moment, right? You guys remember Kofi Mania when everybody got behind Kofi Kingston and he became huge. And I'm not saying Damian Priest, became as big as Kofi Kingston at that time. But once Kofi Kingston lost that title to Brock Lesnar, I was there, by the way, when that happened. That was it. Kofi Kingston just went back to being just another member of the New Day, and that was it. That star power just faded to what he once used to be. And now I'm starting to think, is Damian Priest gonna just go back to what he was? And that was a mid card guy. He was never really that huge of a character. He was never really that guy where it's like, oh man, we got to have him somewhere in the championship, picture. Damian Priest was never there, right? Now he got his shot and he got his time to shine. But is that it now? Is it kind of over for him, and is he just now going to be down in the mid card level now? Because I do believe Drew McIntyre will work his way back up. Um, so we'll see, man. And having Drew go over on Damian Priest, I mean, it doesn't help Damian Priest too much. So let's get to the fatal four way, man. This was a fun match. I really enjoyed this match. Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Dom comes out with a mascara, right? Kind of remind me of El Santos. He has trouble taking it off. Now, since then, I've gone back and I've watched that match specifically and listened to the commentary, and they caught on to that. Michael Cole making fun of him a little bit. I haven't gone back and watched the whole thing of WrestleMania, and I'm not gonna do it. That's what 8 hours combined. I'm probably not gonna be able to do that, man. Um, I'll tell you guys this, man. It was a fun match. You know what was really cool is that most of that most of the stadium was rooting for Dominic, and you could just feel it. You could just feel it. Like Dominic has put in the work, man. Think of him as you want. He's a sniveling little weasel and all that stuff. That guy has put in the work. That guy has been a workhorse. You remember when he was with Rhea Ripley, when he was with Mommy, man, they would be at Monday Night Raw, they would be at NXT, they would be on the house shows, they would be on Friday Night SmackDown. This guy was everywhere, and so was Mommy. Okay, this guy has been a workhorse. He wins this fatal four way for the Intercontinental Champion, which was a good match. And for those who don't know me, the IC title is the most prestigious of them all. For me personally, not for anybody else. Or everybody else calls it a mid card title. That's fine. That's fine. Call it mid card title. I'm not gonna argue that. But for me personally, the Intercontinental Championship is the most prestigious title of them all. I thought Braun Breaker was a great Intercontinental champion, and I think Dominic Mysterio is gonna be a great Intercontinental champion. This was a great move. Awesome, awesome move. And the way it finishes with him pinning Finn Balor to win this fatal four way and become champion. The pop after that was huge. People loved the fact that he won the Intercontinental Championship. So much, so much that he's leaving. He's going up the ramp. Okay. It reminds me of baseball. All right. Sometimes in baseball, you get what is called a curtain call. All right, you put the team up, you hit a grand slam, you hit a home run, you hit something. When you guys are losing in the baseball game and you hit something out of the park to put your team up, all right, you round the bases, you go back to the dugout, and the fans keep cheering. The fans keep cheering. Come on, come on, come on. We need to see you. It's called a curtain call in baseball. The player comes up, takes his hat, says like thank you. Everybody cheers. Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio got a wrestling curtain call. He is like halfway up the ramp, and the fans are just cheering and cheering and cheering and saying, "You deserve it. You deserve it." Where he runs back down to the ring, passing Finn Balor, by the way. Okay, he passes right by Finn Balor. Slides into the ring, gets up on the corner, just starts yelling like, yeah, loving his moment. The place goes crazy. The place goes crazy. It was badass. It was badass. Shout outs to that young kid, man. Shout outs to that young kid. He's still a heel. He's still a heel. All right. So his job is to get people to boo him. But honestly, I think we're gonna see a babyface turn. There's a lot of heel turns. The heel turns obviously are the more exciting turns. They're the ones that get the pop like whoa, as opposed to the face turns. The face turns are a little bit more boring. That needs to come organically. Just like with Mommy, with Rhea Ripley, she was supposed to be a heel, and slowly people started liking her more and more, and at some point she was getting more cheers than boos. The only reason why she was getting booed is because they were booing Dominic, not Mommy. Okay, now I think we're going to see a trend of people starting to cheer Dirty Dom. I do, and I think that's going to force him to go babyface. And what I think is going to happen is I think he's actually going to leave the Judgment Day. I think Finn Balor's going to turn on him, and maybe everybody else is going to turn on him. So I thought that's what happened. Yeah, Richard. That's exactly what happened. He got a curtain call. He got a wrestling curtain call, homie, and that was cool to see. Shout outs to that young kid, man, because he's putting in the work. Yes, his last name may be Mysterio, which would made it a little easier for him to get his foot in the door. But that kid's putting in the work. That kid is putting in the work, and I'm glad he's gonna make a great Intercontinental champion. And the kid can wrestle. The kid can wrestle. Shout outs to Dominic Mysterio. The kid can wrestle. Um, Randy Orton. Okay, so look, all the WrestleMania is all about one question and one question. That's it. That's all WrestleMania was about. And that is, do you believe? Do you believe in Joe Hendry? It was it was fun. It was fun. It was a fun moment. I think the match went just like a little over 3 minutes. Randy Orton against TNA champ Joe Henry. It got a good pop. There were very few people that were like, "Who is that?" Um, but he made it fun. He made it fun. Some people are calling it a squash match. I don't know. I think a squash match needs to be. Yeah, they squashed them. Ah, to me, it's somewhere. It's like right on the Mason Dixon line of a squash match. Like I think a squash match has to last less than a minute. He got some offense. He did get a little bit of offense. He got his good chingazos on Randy Orton. He did get a little bit of offense, man. Not too much, but he got his licks in. Um, for what for what it was fun. You know, would I have liked to have seen Randy Orton in a meaningful, serious WrestleMania match? Like he said, that was his, what did he say, his 20th WrestleMania or something like that? Yeah, but look, ultimately it was fun. Everybody got a laugh out of it. People enjoyed it. Um, and I enjoyed it too. I had a good laugh. It was a good time. It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it, man. So I'm not going to complain about it. It was cool, man. Obviously, Randy Orton gets the victory on that one. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I actually had a little bit higher expectations for that match. It was still a good match. I still enjoyed it. AJ Styles is getting up there in age. Uh, Karrion Cross called him Allen. We'll get to that later on this week. That was really good. Um, Logan Paul is good, man. I like Logan Paul. I do, man. And he gets the victory over AJ Styles. I don't know where AJ Styles is going with his career. Obviously, he has much, 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 much more of his career behind him than he does ahead of him. It was this kind of to put Logan Paul over. I mean, Logan Paul is a heel. I guess so. I mean, he's a full timer now. So, he's got a the build up to this match wasn't good. It wasn't good. I'll give you guys my whole thoughts on the whole thing afterwards. But look, it was a decent match. Again, WrestleMania esque. I don't know. It was kind of a match that you could just seen on Monday Night Raw. But Logan Paul gets that victory. The women's tag team championship, Becky Lynch, that was the big thing about that match. I didn't realize that Bailey was not going to be in that match till the night before, till Saturday. I was like, oh, she's not in that match. Oh, okay. Becky Lynch comes out. She gets a huge pop. Everybody loves it. They win the tag team titles, which I thought was completely ridiculous. But I do understand it. You're not going to have Becky Lynch come back and lose. Now, she doesn't have to get pinned, right? But still, you're not gonna have Becky Lynch lose. So she wins with Lyra Valkyria, who is the Intercontinental Champion, which I thought that's why all this was just like bonkers to me, Holmes. I'm like, come on, what are you? She is Intercontinental Champion. What is she doing in a tag team championship match? Like, this is ridiculous. But anyway, you do it just so you can reintroduce, and get a pop for the man Becky Lynch. They win the titles just so they can lose them the night after, and whatever. Was it cool? Yeah, I guess so. I've never been like a huge Becky Lynch fan. I know people love her. I mean, people love her, man. So, and I'm not gonna hate on that. To me, I'm not that big of a fan. I don't hate on her. I think she's a good wrestler, and there's definitely room for her. But I'm not like a Huge fan, like everybody else is, of hers. Which leads us to the main event of night two: Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, with Travis Scott making an appearance, but we do not see an appearance of the final boss. And let's go ahead and let's get into that. Okay, so look, the entrance for John Cena is very dark. It's just the lights are out and he just comes out. The I was asking people, around me. I'm like, hey, is everything darker? Because it just seems like the lighting wasn't quite the same. I'm talking about during the match. I'm not talking about John Cena's entrance. When John Cena came in, yes, the lights went pretty dim and there was nothing on the screens. It was just black. It was just like, because he's on this course of, I'm going to ruin wrestling for you, right? Because you are not worthy and you're not, okay? Because John Cena's letting you know, man, you have not appreciated the greatness of hustle, loyalty, and respect, right? Um, so like the screens just go black, they go just, and he just comes out. It's supposed to be very pale, just very just dark, just very like, hey, it's about me, and I'm not here for your entertainment, right? He's Joe Pesci, right? What am I? What am I, your clown? I'm here to amuse you. I amuse you, right? Um, but during the match itself, I was asking people around me, like, "Hey, is the lighting off?" Because it seems a little darker than the other matches, and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a little bit different." I'm like, "Huh, okay." I thought the match was, I thought it was pretty good. Okay, now that's their being there in person. All right, we'll get to what everybody else has been saying. I thought it was all right. Okay, I'm not gonna say like, whoa, it was the greatest thing I've ever seen. No, because it wasn't. But I thought it was pretty good. When Travis Scott comes out, everybody's just like, okay, everybody's waiting for The Rock. Where's The Rock? You could just feel it. You could just feel it in the atmosphere. Everybody's taking out their phones. Everybody's saying like, oh, The Rock, the final boss. He never came out. Cody Rhodes had publicly said that he has a receipt that he needs to pay back Travis Scott. And I guess that's why he hit him with the crossroads. For me personally, that's not enough, homie. Backstage, Cody Rhodes, you go back there and you smack the heck out of that fool, Travis Scott. I don't even like that fool. I don't know who he is. Now, ever since that incident, at Elimination Chamber, then I started hearing who he is. I've been hearing that jam fiend, fiend, fiend. It sounds like a stupid song. I don't like this guy. I want Cody just to nail him in the head with a chair. I know they don't really do headshots anymore, but hey, he's not a wrestler, dog. So just nail him. Um, he gets involved. Cody Rhodes hits him with the crossroads. John Cena, look, I'm not gonna recap the whole thing. You guys seen it already. John Cena comes out with the victory, 17th time. The place goes crazy, at least there inside the stadium. It goes crazy. I was there to witness history, and it felt good. It felt good to witness history. All right. Since then, I've been seeing all the complaints. I understand that watching it on the tube is not quite as watching it there live in person. I can't speak for everybody that was there in person and say they're gonna agree with me or not agree with me. Okay, to each their own. I will definitely be in agreement with the buildup for this WrestleMania was not good. It was not good at all. It basically just seemed like, hey, you know what? It's in Las Vegas and that should be enough. Let Las Vegas entertain you. Let Las Vegas be enough for you. We haven't been in Vegas since WrestleMania 9. It's been decades, right? Since we saw two doinks, since Crush saw Double Vision. Um, that's almost what it seemed like. It's like, we're in Vegas, baby. Like, what are you complaining about? Don't worry about it. Let the city entertain you. It almost kind of seemed like that. Um, the build up to this WrestleMania was not good at all. It was not good at all. I went to the convention center and they did have gear there that said, finally, The Rock has come back to Las Vegas. There was hoodies, there were t-shirts with the Brahma Bull saying, finally, The Rock has come back to Las Vegas. Now, The Rock was on the Pat McAfee show, and he said that he was never slated to be at WrestleMania. Somebody told me that he had to fly out to Hawaii for some emergency. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. If that were true, he should just come out and say that, because that's actually a better answer than saying that, oh, the plan was never for me to be at WrestleMania. The final boss role is over. How the heck do you figure that the role of the final boss is over? Why would you even have The Rock involved when John Cena turns heel at Elimination Chamber? Then how? Why would he even fit in there? If his role is just to be there, hey Cody, do you sell your soul to me or not? What is, I don't understand that. So this story can still come full circle, but if you're not doing it at WrestleMania, and I've heard multiple people say this that work in the business, that work in the WWE, they say, hey, that is their calendar year, not like the rest of us, where our year ends at the end of December. They say no, their year ends with WrestleMania, and then that Monday Night Raw, the year starts for them again. That is how they live their life. That is their time clock. Okay, so if that's your time clock, then how are you going to make this story go full circle without revealing that at WrestleMania? Now, it can still happen. The Rock can still come back later on. It can still happen at the end of this year. But The Rock's explanation, I thought, was just egregious. It was egregious, man. For him to come out and say, I was never supposed to be at WrestleMania, so don't worry about it. Like, no, dog. And for him to say, like, oh, you know what, I got at Cody and I got at John, and it's supposed to be about them. Then why insert yourself? Why inject yourself into that storyline? John could have turned heel without you. He definitely could have turned heel without that dumbass Travis Scott over there throwing shots, busting Cody's eardrum. And yes, I understand that Rock told him, hey, Travis, don't hold back. Give him a good one. Yeah, I get it. Do you know why he said that? Because you don't want to repeat what Dennis Rodman, who the heck was Dennis Rodman supposed to be slapping back in WCW? And his finger was like a good 10 inches away from the face, and he was just throwing smacks. And everybody could see that you're not making any contact, Mr. Dennis Rodman. You got to sell this. But what you don't do is you don't reach your arm all the way back and come down with everything you got and bust a superstar's eardrum out. Man, I still want Cody to bust that dude up. But what was the point? What is the point? If the final boss's role is done in this storyline, what was the point having him at Elimination Chamber? What was the point having him leading up to Elimination Chamber? John Cena could have gone heel without Travis Scott, without The Rock. He could have gone heel without them. Now Rock has came on and said like, oh well, it was because of low ticket sales. Okay, it's WrestleMania, man. Showcase of the Immortals. He didn't really have to come out and do much, but I don't. I really don't get the explanation. I don't. He was on Pat McAfee show and he gave his explanation saying that no, his final boss role in that storyline is done. It's supposed to be about John, and I understand that. Look, it's a valid point, but it's not valid because you were about that story. Your character is all over that story. So it's not just about John and Cody. It's not just about John winning number 17, wanting to ruin wrestling for us all. It's about The Rock, the final boss, just as much as it was about Cody and just as much as it was about John. Maybe even more so because you're the final boss. Maybe even more so because Cody didn't sell his soul to you, whatever the heck that was supposed to mean. Maybe even more so because you're the one that gave the cutthroat to John. And now, no show. So I'll tell you guys this, man. I'm hearing a lot of complaints about this year's WrestleMania, and I'm not going to defend it. But what I'm going to say, at least for me personally, okay, at least for me, being there was badass. It was so much fun. I went to SmackDown. I went to the Hall of Fame. I went to both nights of WrestleMania. I did not go to Stand and Deliver. I did not go to Monday Night Raw. The atmosphere, everything. It was awesome. It was awesome. I don't want to say that WrestleMania was awesome, okay, but the atmosphere and just the weekend, the vacation time, and having wrestling fans all over the place. That was awesome. So while I do hear a lot of people complaining about this year's WrestleMania, and I understand it. I understand it. And I'm not defending it by any means whatsoever. But for me, because I was there, and again, there's people that probably went there that probably feel the same way you guys do, that they're pissed off and saying that this WrestleMania sucked. And like I said, I got no arguments against that. But to me, it was just the atmosphere, everything itself, everything was badass, man. Everything was fun, with the exception of maybe the matches, the lineups, the storylines. Yes, that was a little lackluster, but just being there and just the energy. There's nothing, there's nothing, man, like the WWE crowd, and nothing brings the world together like wrestling. I'm telling you guys, man. I'm telling you guys, there were so many fans there from all over the place, from different parts around the world. A lot of people drinking alcohol. I didn't see not one problem, not one, not one fight, nothing, not even almost, not even like some sort of little small altercation. Like, ooh, you know what, man, those guys kind of got into a heated argument. Man, I thought they were gonna start throwing blows. Nothing, nothing. And when it was time to exit, like, good gosh, man, it was like a human traffic jam. Like, you cannot, gosh darn it, man. There was so much human traffic just all over you. Not one problem. Not one problem. It was just an incredible time, man. But WrestleMania itself, again, if you just watch it on TV, yeah, yeah, I guess I could kind of say like, yeah, man, you know what? It was kind of weak. But going into it, I mean, a lot of the storylines, a lot of the matchups, a lot of all that stuff was already pretty weak, man. It was already pretty weak. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it right there. Now that WrestleMania is behind us, Monday Night Raw, that was badass. A lot of people are saying that Monday Night Raw after Mania was actually better than Mania itself. Um, I'll definitely talk about that one on another one this week. We got SmackDown coming up at the end of the week, which will be the first SmackDown after Mania. I don't think it holds as much weight as Raw after Mania does. Um, and then there, man, WrestleMania season would be is gonna be behind us. You know, usually it takes one full week. You got to get through Raw, and you got to get through SmackDown. Then pow, just like that. WrestleMania, you know, is just a memory, and we just start moving forward. So, but with that, look, man, it was fun being there, and I'll just end it with this one. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. Growing up as a kid, and I've said this before, but I want to make sure you guys get the you know the value of what I'm saying here. Okay, growing up as a kid, man, you know, a lot of people would like to talk about, you know, they grew up poor and everything of that sort. And you know, my life's no different. We didn't grow up with money either, right? I don't know why people need to talk about that so much. Like they want some sort of pat on the back, like, hey, look at me. You know, I grew up with nothing, man, but I have a. I mean, American poor is not to the rest of the world. American poor is kind of laughable. So I don't really talk too much about it, man. When you got people around the world that to them poor is actually like super really actual poor, right? Um, but I just want to say this, man. Never in my life did I ever think as a kid that I would ever attend a wrestling event, right? It never crossed my mind. I grew up watching wrestling. My mom worked two jobs. There was no way that she was going to take me to a wrestling event. There was no way that she was going to spend her hard earned money on a pay per view back before that they were called PLEs. They were called pay per views. She bought me two pay per views when I was a kid, man. Right. And that's because I would beg for those, right? I'd even do good in school. And that's me doing good in school. Just so she could buy me those, right? She bought me two pay per views. Okay. Um, Never did it ever cross my mind that I would ever attend a wrestling event. Ever. Ever. It wasn't a thought. It just like I just accepted like it's not for me. You know, that's for people that do those type of things, right? Let alone a WrestleMania, right? Um, time went on, time went on. I became an adult. Yeah, I went to a couple of shows here and there. Oh man, look at this! I'm gonna go to a Monday Night Raw. Cool, you know it. But still, going to a WrestleMania was still like it was like it ain't never gonna happen. You know, I just didn't think about it. I've now gone to two WrestleManias in the last 3 years. It can happen. It's for you if you want it to be for you. All right. So I'll leave you guys with that, man. Anyway, I'm gonna tap up out of here. It was fun. I had a great time. I'm still recovering from the weekend that was WrestleMania. There's nothing like it. Little bit of a weak one, got it, but I still enjoyed the heck out of myself. A lot of great memories, man. Oh man, I'll tell you. Let's see whenever they go back to Vegas. But with that, junkies, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna tap up out of here. I'll be dropping videos. We got to talk about Monday Night Raw. We got to talk about some of the good stuff that's actually coming out of after what happened after WrestleMania and stuff from Monday Night Raw and what's gonna be going on SmackDown, man. Where do we go from here? A lot of good stuff, man. And I'm becoming a fan of somebody who I used to talk a lot of smack about. I'll let you guys know who that is, man, later on this week. All right, but that I'm gonna leave you guys right there. Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shout out to all the junkies. Catch you guys on next one.
And I